Hello. Episode 15. Welcome, Rich and Ben, the Sober Men, the podcast. Rich, how are you, pal?
Mate, I'm good. I'm really good. We're aging, and it must be said we are aging, but that's okay. And the reason why I have those moments occasionally where I realise that I'm aging is that I went to Specsavers the other day because I need to get prescription sunglasses because my prescription has changed in the last 10 years, etc., etc. Now, a little short story. I've gone from like flat lenses to varifocals, right? And so
I'm so sorry. This has really tickled me already.
We're straight in,
so
mate. There's no messing. So I've gone from flat lenses to varifocals. Never had varifocals in my life, and I struggled getting on with these varifocals. So I got a second pair, also varifocals, and they're slightly bigger the lens is slightly bigger, so I'm okay with them. So I've now got one pair of varifocals that I wear all the time and a spare pair of varifocals. But also, I'm like, I still can't find a way to read stuff close up on the laptop without like craning my head up and looking through the bottom of my glass. So I went back to Specsavers and I said, I think I need another pair that just have the close-up lenses. So so they went, okay, well, we'll just take it. If you want to just take one from the sort of the £15 range. And I'm like, that's fine. They're just like reading. So then I went and got those. So now I've got three pairs. Now I thought I need to drive. It's sunny. It's the summer. We've got nice weather. The sun's out quite a lot. I need sunglasses, but I need to see when I'm driving, so I need prescription sunglasses. So I now have 4 pairs of glasses. Now I've always worn glasses, but now I've got 4. But they've always been fine with just one lens. Now I've got 4 different pairs of glasses for the 4 different facets of my life: for sun, for computer, for phone, it's just. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? And then I was talking to Jem, my wife Jem, about it, and she said, you know what? It's a privilege getting older. It's a privilege getting older because not everyone gets that chance to do it. And you know what? You were behaving in a way where you may not have been here, right? When I was drinking and partying, said so. It's a privilege, and if the only consequence really that you have is having to have 4 different pairs of glasses for the different moments of the day that you need them, then you're doing all right. So yeah, I've made my peace with it. And I'm okay. How are
good,
you?
Yeah. I'm really good. And you know what? I bet the staff at Bista, did you say Specsavers?
Specsavers, yeah.
Their profits are rocketed. You are like saving the branch there. Freedom of Specsavers Bista for Rich. If anyone from Specsavers is listening, give him the freedom of the branch.
Mate, they know me
well. I'm
well.
really good. Rich, I've just had like a sober-tastic bonkers moment.
Right.
Listen to this, right? This is crazy. So we all know I love my little morning walk. I was out there this morning. Had to go via my little Tesco Express. Anyway, walking back, I passed one of those builders trucks, like passed up. Usually on the dashboard, there's like fag packets, like an old invoice, half a cheese and pickle on granary, if they're healthy builders, like a betting slip.
Yeah,
that's the norm, right? You know the sort, like the trailers. Covered in dust, filthy. Anyway, this one, I walked past it and I did a little moonwalk backwards. On the dashboard was a copy of a book. And do you know what the book was?
Tell me.
It was called The Sober Diaries.
Oh, wow.
And it clocked. I was like, how nuts. Like, I was literally on my way, back to my house. We knew we were recording this episode of Rich and Ben. And I was like, that is a weird sign in like a builder's van as well. So I retreated back again to see who it was by. It was Claire Pooley, who I haven't heard of, but it's The Sober Diaries by Claire Pooley. So I'm going to do a bit of research after we've recorded the app. But I just thought if anyone is listening who's read that book, can you let us know what it's like and what it's about? It'd be so great. thesobermenpod@gmail.com, or get into our DMs on Instagram or TikTok. But I was like, what are the chances? That's like the triple whammy of me, like out for my walk. The pod, we aim to reach people from all walks of life. You've worked in the building trade, I have. And there was a book, The Sober Diaries, in this old dusty like work builder's van. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I was properly like, That's like, I was like, today's going to be a good day. Episode 15 is going to be like a rocking and a rolling. So that was that. Anyway, you know, I've been enthusing about, we both have, about the middle-aged man's walk, one arm behind the back, two arms behind the back, the stare. Anyway, like after we spoke about that, I saw, and I swear to God, the first woman, not the first woman ever, because there's been quite a few women in the world, but the first woman I've ever seen adopting the male, middle-aged, two hands behind the back walk. And I was like, hallelujah. I was like, the word is spreading. The joys of the middle-aged man's two hands behind the back walk is spreading to whoever that lady was. Kudos. Keep, if you're listening, pass the pod. But if you're doing that walk, pass the walk. I love it. And then a slight Benjamin moan. I'm not usually a moaner. I tried to think of, keep positive. But, Rich, I was collecting my prescription monthly, my citalopram, my kind of antidepressant. And there was this guy there in front of me in the queue. And it's a lovely, lovely little chemist in our village. But he was waiting for something. But so he'd kind of been served, then was waiting, but he'd still adopted the half counter pose. So like his back was guarding the rest of the counter, and he wouldn't move. Like, there was a queue of people behind me, and I was thinking, like, are you gonna like? I was being served, but kind of trying to dodge his back and like speak to the woman behind the counter. She's lovely. She gave me a little, one of those little looks like, oh God.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, mate, what are you doing? But anyway, I was that close to him. I smelled his aftershave. I think it was like a bit of Curos or Blue. I was like, well, at least he smells good. But I was just like, mate, come on, like, just have a, be aware of your surroundings. But, that just made me, I called him the Queue guy, Colin the Queue guy.
Yeah.
And then in contrast to that, I'm in my delivery van, Rich, which now it's almost like I'm the all-seeing eye around the Northwest. Like, I see so much of like human nature.
I bet.
But anyway, Rich, I saw they were probably like early 20s. It looked like it was a Saturday night. They'd been partying, and they were getting out of a cab. So past them getting out of the cab on the way back on the same road, one of them was sat on the curb. This younger, well, probably early 20s. Just being sick into a carrier bag.
Oh.
Literally, mate, I was like, I said to myself, thank the Lord I'm sober, because I remember that. The feeling, that nauseating feeling, the smell. But of course, youngsters, they'd had a great night, and of course they'll bounce back, won't they, the next day, probably by lunchtime. But I just thought, thank the Lord, I have found sobriety. And it reminded me, Rich, of when I was on tour with I did the like the international tour of Mamma Mia. And we were in Frankfurt in Germany, and on our day off, the same producer of Mamma Mia in Germany, or co-producer, produced Michael Bublé's European tour. So on our day off, he was on our set. It happens a lot at the Palladium and Drury Lane, places like that, where they'll drop in and do a one-night gig. And it was Bublé at Frankfurt. Amazing night. We met him.
That's cool.
Like, really cool. But of course, hello, free bar. Hello, Ben, pisshead. Hello, Ben. Yeah, let's give it. I just haven't met you yet. While also thinking, right, I'm off to get another beer.
Yeah.
What a waste of an experience. But also, Rich, I got so pissed that night. I was sick as anything in my hotel room. And I just remember the next morning waking up with that awful smell in the hotel room.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed, but it happened, like on the curtains. And I just I checked out that day feeling rancid, and I had to fess up to reception. I don't know what happened. I don't want to know. After I left, but I just said, I'm so sorry. I overdid it last night, and literally just had to go. And just those experiences of putting myself in that situation, I never want again in my life. And I hope that girl was fine. I'm sure she was. But just another little reminder of, what can start as fun can often turn very sour, can't it? But but luckily, the woman with her hands behind the back walking has put a big smile on my face this week, Rich.
Was she
Thank the Lord for her.
Was she in the? What was it? Where did you say she was, in the garden centre? Is that where it was?
No, I'm usually. Oh, we've been back to the garden centre where, of course, I adopted the two hand behind the back walk, which was quite tricky because I was trying to push a trolley at the same time.
Yeah.
But no, I just passed her on the road. Like I was in my
Right.
car, and I was just like, "Go, girl!"
Yeah,
she was rocking
good.
it. I was like, "Yeah, let's get this walk. Let's spread it globally."
Yeah,
I
that's
want to
good.
see like fans. I want to see refs at the World Cup in the States walking out with their hands behind the back.
Maybe we should start putting the two-handed walk on our TikTok and the Instagram. See if we can get some viral videos out there.
Let's do it. That's our little weekly challenge, mate. We'll both do a little Tickus Tockers video with our hands behind the back and just see what happens, just for our amusement. I'm sure people do it. I know people do it.
Yeah, no, they do, and their little look up. You were saying about going to the garden centre and you're there frequently. As we talked about on the last episode about my jet washing on my outside space and stuff. Yeah. So exciting afternoon for me today because I'm doing my mum's driveway. I'm jet washing my mum's driveway.
Are you? Yes. Mate, you've been hired.
Well, you know what it is, and again, it links to my sobriety. We've talked about this before on the podcast about turning up, about making an arrangement, saying that you're going to do something for someone else, and showing up and doing it. And my mum said to me, "Would I come around and jet wash her now? Because she knows I've got a jet wash." She's like, "Yeah, can you come and do my driveway?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I know that once we've recorded, I'll have a bit of lunch. And then I'll be around at my mum's and I'll be jet washing their patio. And it's nice to do something for somebody else, complete a task, because it gives you fulfillment as well. And it gives you that purpose. And it's nice when someone, asks you to do something and then you complete that job. They're appreciative. It makes you feel nice and everybody's happy, because there were so many times when I made arrangements with my mum, family, friends and stuff when I was drinking and partying and stuff. I just wouldn't turn up, or I would just make an excuse. "Oh, I'm not feeling very well. Oh yeah, I've woken up sick." And I'm just like, that makes you feel even worse, because not only are you not keeping to the arrangement, you're lying as well into the bargain. So many sort of lies, and you kind of go, "Oh, it's only a white lie. Or it's only a lunch. It's only a driveway, whatever it might be." And so, I'm looking forward to jet washing my mum's patio.
I'm excited for you, Rich. And you know what? People listening, I'm sure they'll get it. Like us enthusing about jet washing, about doing your mum a lovely favour like that. It's kind of joyous because, like you said, you've made an arrangement, you're sticking to it, you'll get something from it because, it's nuts, right? We're not psychologists, but I find jet washing, it's very therapeutic, as we mentioned on episode 14, Rich. Yeah. But also, you're doing your mum such a great thing. She's going to be so happy. And also, it's like physical for you. And like you said, after a long time of not really being present for your family and the shame that probably brought you subsequently deep down. Like it's like a self-pride thing, isn't it? Not on a jet washing scale, but this morning, I had a message last night from a mate who just wanted a phone number of some digs. He's trying to book some digs for Panto. Asked me for a recommendation. And straight away, I put a note in my diary, first thing, message, this lady's number. So I wouldn't forget. And first thing, with my coffee this morning, I did it. And it sounds stupid, just a little tick off the to-do list.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was drinking, little things like that, 3 or 4 days later, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I forgot to do that. I said I'd do that. So it's just little building blocks again of self-pride. And I'm excited for you. You've got some old dirty clothes, because it goes everywhere, doesn't it?
Mate,
you got your wellies.
Pair of tracksuit bottoms. No, I like to wear flip-flops.
Some tracky bees. You go flip-flops?
Flip-flops, mate, yeah, because it's easy, because then you just rinse them off, rinse off your feet, and it's fine, because you get a lot of crap between your toes. I said it the other week, this is a sobriety podcast and we're talking about jet washing and two-handed walks behind the back. I mean, but it's just those little things. I guess what we're saying is there's those little things that you can appreciate when you're sober and you've got a clear head, you've got a bit of clarity, and you can show up, and you do. I know it sounds cheesy, but you can appreciate those tiny little things. And of course, as we always say, those tiny little things then manifest into big things, and you can find happiness in those things.
On the back of just finding the joy in the little things, I've had a really nice email through, Rich, which I'd love to share with you, from another listener email, which is great. It's from Scott. Hi, Scott. I know you'll be listening. Scott. Good morning, Rich and Ben. I've wanted to send you guys a message for a little while. I'm now 4 months sober. Scott, a woo-ha. That is brilliant. I'm now 4 months sober, and my journey is of a similar nature to Ben in regards to how my drinking pattern was. I can resonate with the grey area drinking. I began my journey on the 31st of January, and I'm currently sat in Thailand, 9 days in sober, presently enjoying a family holiday of a lifetime. It's my birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, the Stevie Wonder version. And I'm looking forward to spending it sober and present and celebrating with mango and sticky rice. See, the small things. The excitement. Following your podcast has been a tremendous support and inspiration for my journey. In regards to that, I just wanted to say thank you and keep up the hard work you guys have put into everything you do. And I wish you all the very best for the future. P.S. I've just finished episode 13, sat by the pool. Many thanks, Scott. Scott, thank you. Rich, how nice is that?
Mate, that is so nice. And it's lovely to know that someone's sitting on the other side of the world in Thailand listening to our podcast. It's fantastic. And of course, Scott, congratulations on your 4 months. Because I was just thinking then when you said 4 months, Scott's been sober for about the same time that we've been live with the podcast.
Yeah.
So his kind of sobriety journey is tracking the podcast, isn't it? And it's so nice. I remember those moments, sort of early sobriety, where I would listen to kind of YouTube videos and watch stuff, and I'd be like, they meant so much to me because I felt like I was finding my community. And if we can be part of someone else's community as well, as Scott has said in his email, that listen, that fills us with pride, and that fills us with those moments that we want to, that we know we're going to keep going with it, and we're going to keep getting the message out there. We're going to keep sharing messages from other people, from listeners, from ourselves. And it's Scott, I mean, thank you so much. As we always say to all the people that write into the podcast, thank you. Keep listening, keep enjoying, and listen, have a wonderful holiday out in Thailand.
Yeah, thanks again, Scott. We really appreciate it. Also, another member of the Sober Men Sober Buzz Squad, Steve Hookway, is a good friend of the pod. Just want to shout out to him. So he's a music producer, some great stuff. His Summer House playlist 2020, got to sound like Tony Blackburn. Hey mate, smash it nicey. The Summer House playlist. That's turned into Bruce Forsyth. I'm going to stop any accents for the rest of the episode, I promise. But yes, Steve's Summer House playlist 2026 is on Spotify. Download, share, give it a go. He's a great guy. And also, kudos to Steve. In May, he completed 5K a day for the Calm charity, Rich, which is just fantastic. So, Steve, I know he'll be listening. Thanks again, Steve, and well done for your 5K a day. Just fantastic.
Yeah, congratulations, Steve, and as always, good luck with the music. Keep it coming, because we love listening to it. Yeah, and we'll try and get it out there as well on the old Spotify. Ben, shall we see this week who's in the frame?
Brilliant, Rich. Come on, it's your turn, me old China.
Right. So today, our regular feature that we have on the podcast, if you're new to the podcast, what we do each week, when we're in the studio, we have a little nice picture frame on the coffee table. And when we're remote, like we are today, Ben puts it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And we have someone in
and
that frame.
And if I remember. I forgot Bradley Cooper. I apologise, mate. Bradley will be listening.
Yeah, he wrote
Bradley.
He wrote in. He was disappointed, but don't worry. So in the frame this week, so what we do, we have someone in the frame, someone that we find inspirational, someone that is sharing their sobriety journey, that we can look at their story and we can understand where they came from and the way they advocate for this lifestyle now. So today in the frame, we've got Davina McCall, TV presenter. Davina McCall. Yeah, she's been sober. She achieved long-term sobriety in her mid-20s. She's remained clean sober ever since. And she credited the continued support of meetings and therapy to help her sustain this. And she sort of, as we know, she transformed her life. She poured her sort of addictive energy into health and fitness, and obviously her highly successful broadcasting career. And she's very openly shared about her story and tries to sort of reduce that stigma sort of that's around addiction and stuff. And she said that the key pillars of her recovery were it was the biggest step for her was being able to stand up in a meeting and say, my name is Davina and I'm an addict, because I think she struggled with it for a long time. She credits NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous, with teaching her how to live, heal from the trauma that, in her life, and then rebuild her life. And she said she struggled with immense sort of shame and self-hatred for how she'd hurt people and, her loved ones, etc. And, her sponsor gave her a mirror, and she and said to her, I want you to look in this mirror and practice daily affirmations. The stuff that we say, Ben, isn't it? Daily affirmations is still so she could eventually look in that mirror and learn to love herself. And she really struggled, but has found recovery very early and has stayed clean and sober ever since. And that kind of resonated with me, her story, because I remember we spoke about it early in the episodes about hanging. I used to hang a towel on the mirrors in my apartment, because
that really upset me, Rich, when you told me that.
I didn't want to look at myself. And then when I read that Davina's sponsor gave her a mirror for her to look at herself, so she could eventually sort of be kind to yourself, make friends with yourself again, and kind of like clean house and clean your side of the street, and things get better. That resonated with me a lot. So yeah, Davina McCall, obviously very successful, and she's a very bubbly, jovial character, as we know. Obviously, most famous probably for the Big Brother back in late 90s and the noughties and stuff, and and is a big advocate for healthy living and recovery. So big up Davina McCall.
Well, you can see her energy just burst through the screens, can't you, Rich?
Yeah.
Great presenter. That energy, that spark. She looks great as well. But she would have gone through so much, coming to terms with her addiction, fighting it. And how great then, again, somebody in the public eye is so open with it to help others. I think that's wonderful. So, Rich, brilliant choice this week, Davina McCall.
Right, Ben, so we were discussing what we wanted to talk about on this week's episode, and we thought it would be, with 15 episodes and 15 big episodes. If anyone's not listened to the other 14, please go back, Rich Ben the Sober, you can find it. They're all there. Have a good listen. And I thought, wouldn't it be a good episode to have sort of a lifestyle checking in with ourselves, because
Rich, I love it.
sort of who are we, our identities, how we're living, how we're getting on, because I think it's important in sobriety to regularly just check in with yourself, because of course in early sobriety we can get obsessed with like, oh, I'm this day sober, I'm doing this, and we can run away with ourselves, which is great, because it's great to be excited about finding recovery and sobriety. And of course, if we're a bit further down the road, sometimes you can let things slip a little bit, you're not checking in with yourself. And so I think it's important to regularly check in with ourselves, see how we're doing, and just ask yourself the question, right, how am I doing? Is there anything I need to address? Is there, almost like a self-inventory, as I've talked about that, as we do in the program. We do a little inventory. It doesn't have to be, in the program, it's kind of, they say, do a daily inventory. That might not work for you. Just every so often, do a little daily inventory, a little sort of regular inventory of yourself, just to see how things are. So that sounds like a good episode and a good conversation.
I think it's great. And also, I hope this sounds okay to say, it's sobriety. It isn't everything in our lives.
Yes.
It shouldn't always take over, I don't think, because away from the sobriety, we still have almost our natural feelings, our day-to-day lives, don't we? It's just now they're anchored by our sobriety. Does that kind of make sense, Rich?
Mate, I loved you when you said that. I thought, yes, absolutely, because obviously we do the podcast, and obviously the foundation of the podcast is sobriety, living this life that we found that gives us the anchor to thrive, right? But it's absolutely correct what you said there. It's not our whole life. We live a really fulfilling, rich life in many other facets that don't even involve sobriety. Sobriety is that's just the anchor that keeps us with clarity and purpose, right?
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, we can go out for a day and have a nice day out, or a nice evening out, go for a nice meal, and not even think about sobriety, because we've got that anchor exists in our life already. But it's really important. We don't walk around and we don't see the the person that you saw down the street with the two-handed walk going, hey, can I just stop and talk to you about sobriety? We're not in the street campaignning for recovery, and so we just enthuse about it because it helps us. So I think that's important to remember, that it doesn't. Yes, it's a massive, important part of our life, but we don't have to continuously always talk about it to everyone and everything sobriety, because let's be honest, eventually that's just going to piss people off, isn't it? We do it on the podcast because this podcast is specifically about that and trying to live a healthier life. But it's important to know, if you are thinking of a life of sobriety, you're sober curious, don't go into it thinking, for the rest of my life, all I'm going to have to talk about and all I'm going to have to be thinking about is sobriety, because you get to a nice peaceful place where it just exists in your life without you having to continuously be talking about it, screaming from the rooftops about it. You know, it just is there. And if anyone asks you about it, you have the answers and you can talk about it and suggestions.
But it's a lovely comfort, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just enhances the other areas of your life. It just... Again, it's just that reassurance and self-confidence and belief in yourself, knowing you've made a decision that you know, just solidifies who you are as a person, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And so we get to that point where we are, I mean, guess for us, Ben, we're middle-aged, aren't we? We're young at heart still. You know, we're lucky. We come from performing backgrounds, which keeps us young. Also,
well, the hair transplant. Hair transplant, fake tan, white top, trying to look young, that kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah, Botox. Botox, varicose vein removal.
I haven't gone down that route yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
Nor me, not yet. I keep looking at the lines. Going, or maybe we should just try it.
You do not need it, pal. You're glowing.
But we get to the point now where we're at an age where we go, should we have like that kind of midlife audit?
Yeah.
Should we check in with ourselves? And so for you, Ben, on your midlife audit, like where you're at right now, obviously just over 3 years sober, you know, you're happily married, you've got a wonderful life, you've got sobriety in your life, you've got purpose. Is there moments where you go, right, let me just check in with myself and make sure that I'm okay? How do you do that? What does that look like for you?
For me, I don't do it enough, Rich. That's why when you mentioned this as a subject for the episode, I was like, this is great. Like, we get to check in with ourselves via the pod and ultimately, you know, share with our listeners and viewers. I don't do it enough, Rich. I often spend a lot of time worrying about other people, about my family and friends, making sure they're okay. And I don't enough just sit with my coffee, as everyone knows that I love, and just say, how are you doing, Ben? I appreciate the calm and peace that brings, but I never think, is my life in a good place? Am I heading in the right direction? How am I doing this month, you know? I just don't do that. So this is like a good little catalyst in reminding myself it's so important to do that, because you can forget about yourself.
Yeah.
I am so proud of the work I've done, Rich, and I work so hard every day on myself to be in this position of feeling peaceful, feeling at calm with myself. I'm really proud of that, because it's very difficult. You know, people from the outset do think that I've got everything sussed. I have not got everything sussed at all. At all. What I have got are bedrocks, like my morals in life, which really support me and how I live my life. And I'm so proud that I've kind of always stuck to those. And those are cemented even further in me through being sober. My kindness, being caring, smiling, just trying to bring the positive to any situation, I firmly believe has like almost maybe like accelerated my sobriety buzz, like rocketed my sobriety forward a few years almost.
Yeah.
Because they've always helped me, those morals that my mum and my gran and my family have installed into me. But I'm so grateful that I had those. And now that I am sober, I just think I'm so lucky to have those inside me, because they really do help me. And it's so interesting when I do have a good think. And you know, what I'm also really proud of when I sit there and with my coffee, I just think all those opinions I have on how one should conduct themselves in life, being kind, being polite, opening the door for somebody, just being a good human, being courteous, it's cemented in my mind that I'm living life the right way. And what I'm also really proud of is because I know right from wrong, and it's so crystal clear now in my life, Rich, that I'm really proud of those opinions, and I have the confidence to express myself, to express those opinions. If I don't agree with something, I'm going to question it, be it in a meeting, be it in a rehearsal room, be it in any walk of life, any predicament that I find myself in. If I think somebody's wronged, I'm going to stand up for that person. But also, if I think I'm going to walk away from the situation, not expressing my opinion, then I'd have let myself down a little bit. And that's just come from being sober, Rich.
Yeah.
That confidence to be myself. No, because I was so worried about consequence when I was drinking. It was always the consequence of another pint, another pissed evening. Who might have I upset? That when you do wake up the next day from that, all you're doing is trying to retrace your steps. You're doing no work on yourself. So now that I am sober, I have the confidence to know that my opinion, of course, is not always right, but it's always coming from a good place, from good morals. And there's going to be no consequence to my mental state, because I know even if I've gone against somebody's opinion, my argument has always come from a good rooted place now. And that is only because I'm sober. And I'm really proud of that. Sobriety is hard work, isn't it? We've mentioned it loads of times, Rich, but it's just given me the confidence to express myself and not worry about what people think about me. Does that kind of marry with you a little bit, Rich?
Yeah, it makes total sense, because what it does, it gives you a pride. It gives you a pride and an understanding of yourself, where you can go, I'm gonna call that out. If someone's behaving badly to someone, if you've got a question, it gives you you have that pride and that self-respect to go, can we just hold on a second? I just want to just flag that up and discuss it for a moment, because I don't agree with it, or I want to question it. And I think, well, I know for me, when I was drinking and I was like partying and I was like, my head was not clear, I didn't want to get involved in a situation like that, because people would know that I was either hungover or drunk or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to do that. So that
feeling is it's still so there, Rich. I get that 100%. You don't want to get involved in any nitty gritty, because there's enough fucking nitty gritty in your head to tarmac the M6.
Exactly. You know that you're going to then be exposed, so you don't get involved. And then, of course, as we've discussed before, then I became very insular and shut the doors and didn't want to see anyone. No. But I do think that what I like about checking in with myself, especially in being sober, is that, say there was a meeting to go to and we were sitting around a boardroom, or we were going to meet at a coffee for a podcast meeting, or whatever that might be, an audition or what, I'm ready to go into that meeting and be and for the hour or however long it lasts for, I'm ready to sit there and go, right, let me absorb this, let me listen to what's going on, let me be able to interact and communicate with a clear head and a sober head and a sensible head, and get from it what I need and give you what you need as well. Whereas before I was not able to do that. And it's like preparation for this podcast, Ben. When we do these episodes, we have a pre-podcast meeting, we chat, and we go, right, we'll talk about this. Okay, that'll be nice. Okay, we've got this, and we talk about, right, we've got some, there's a lovely listener message. There's, we are prepared for that. And that I check in with myself ahead of that to go, right, you've got the pre-meeting. Here's a meeting with myself. It sounds so wanky. It's not. I have a meeting with it. I have a meeting, like almost metaphorical meeting with myself to go, right, I'm going to chat with Ben then, and then we'll record on that day. So I'm going, right, what do I need? I bring that. And before, I was not doing that. Like, I wasn't if I had to turn up for someone asked me to be on a podcast, they never did before I got sober. Just to be clear, but if someone was asking me to, I would just literally turn up and go, oh yeah, okay, turn it on. What are we going to talk about?
It's like the fly by the seat of your pants squad,
exactly.
and that's how the whole of my bloody life was.
Yeah,
sick of it.
It's
so
true.
Dull.
And I was just about getting away with it sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And now in sobriety and being able to check in with myself in whatever I'm doing, it's showing up for someone, as we said, meetings, at work, whatever that might be. I know that I can just check in, take a moment to myself. You said it, you have it with your coffee in the morning or whatever. We can all do it more. Of course we can. But I know people have got busy lifestyles. People have got children. They've got early starts. They've got to cook dinner when they get hot. Life is busy. And I'm not saying it's easy. Oh, go and take an hour for yourself every day. That's fucking difficult for a lot of people. It's difficult for us. We're busy people too. But even if it's just 5-10 minutes to go, right, okay, I just need to make sure that I've had a busy week. I just need 10-15 minutes of myself. And you know what? I guarantee a lot of people, if you said, can you just give me 10 minutes? I'm up to here with it. My brain needs to just I just need 10 minutes. Most people will go and take your 10 minutes. Yep, absolutely. Because they know if you don't do that, you're going to be no good to them anyway. So I think that's important. And I think sobriety and doing the 12 steps, that helped with checking in with myself. But I think you said it before. It's that myth, isn't it, of having it all figured out. We don't have it all figured out. On the podcast, we're discussing things that we're still figuring out. We're not sitting pontificating about, we've got it all figured out. You should do what we do. Sobriety this and recovery that. We're still figuring it out. And we're just trying to share that it's still a work in progress, right?
Yeah, completely. And it's so interesting there, the tie-ins in this world of sobriety and conversation. It's unreal. You said there you're checking yourself in, but also checking in before the pod with yourself, with me, before we record an episode even. That is, again, that beautiful little structure to your week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So not only are you checking with yourself, giving yourself that time to make sure you're prepared, but also the structure that brings to your life in sobriety. And that's what I love. I love the amount that I'm achieving. I love that I'm still holding down, a full-time job in my van. I love it. I love the fact the pod is flying, that our prep is thorough. If I was drinking, everything would be all over the place.
Yeah.
It would be just this quagmire of things I had to achieve and wouldn't achieve anything. And we should be so proud of ourselves for that. Our listeners should be so proud of tuning in each week, having a little moment where they think, right, we can have an hour on a Friday morning when the pod drops, or on our walk on Monday, Tuesday, whenever they listen to the pod, because it's just a little weekly ritual. Pardon the pun, ritual, get it? Rich.
Got you.
To you. Hey, mate. Oh God, I'm like, is it not Nostradamus? Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. But it is just like that lovely feeling of something that roots your week. And for years when I was drinking, there was no root, and when no root to anything. And also what I'm really proud of, Rich, as well, when the rare moments I do, but also maybe when I'm walking subconsciously, I'm checking in with myself then. That's when I go through like my gratitude list in my head. I'm grateful of today. I'm grateful for the pod, my wife, my family, my stepdaughters, my job. Maybe then that I just think, I'm so proud of that. I'm aware of my responsibilities in life.
Awareness, good.
Yeah, and that is a big thing for me. Awareness of, that I have a role now as a stepfather, as a husband, and I'm so bloody proud of that. So just those little moments, I think, even if you're not checking in with yourself, it's just a little reminder that this is me, this is who I am, and I can navigate this life. And of course, that is so much easier in sobriety.
And of course, yeah, exactly. I agree. And preparing, if you don't prepare for anything, you can wing it for a bit, but eventually you'll fuck it up, right? That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So preparing yourself to live a productive life, I think that's kind of like there has to be a prerequisite, doesn't it? Because I didn't do that for a long time, and I messed a lot of stuff up. It was tricky times, and of course, like I said, I've got away with it by the skin of my teeth a few times, but there were times when that didn't happen, and it all fell apart, and it was because I was not present, because I was drinking and I was partying and I was using, and I did not have the tools to right myself, to reset my brain, to get me to a point where I know that I'm going to be, actually present for somebody else, or an event that I'm attending or something. And I think a lot of it is aging as well, is maturity. You like to think as you get older that your mindset changes, because obviously, when you're 20, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Everyone does. That's the nature of the beast, right? You're learning still. And I think if you continue down that road from a 20-year-old to a 50-year-old with the same mindset, the same patterns, the same disasters, no good's going to come of that, and you're not going to be able to turn it around. But if you find a way to have a framework or a structure to be present, like sobriety is, what you learn. I mean, I've learned more in the last 5.5 years than I think I've learned my entire life, because I found sobriety, because it gave me that clarity, and it gave me that purpose, and it just gave me structure and a lot more common sense. A lot of what I read in sobriety, and a lot of what I went through early days in the framework of my amends list and my resentments list, and learning about myself, I was like, how is this not taught in school? How is this? Surely this is it's all common sense stuff that I just had never learned.
It's a lovely feeling. Of just knowing that you're absorbing your life, you're conducting your life responsibility. It's lovely. And for so many years, Rich, I never felt, I guess, like responsible for my life, for myself.
I know, I can understand that.
I had nobody else to be responsible for. The person I was responsible for was myself, and I was just down the bloody pub half the time, thinking I was like Jack the Lad, a very tall, gangly Jack the Lad. And it's lovely now when I get that feeling of like, oh, I'm a good, responsible husband. I'm a great stepfather, and it's almost like feelings that I've never had in my life, because I never had that like male role model. I know we're going to touch on if our parents and if we feel like we're becoming our parents, I guess, in our maturity. But it's almost like a lovely feeling of like, I've got to the person, that male figure in other people's lives, my loved ones' lives, that I never got. It's a very strange feeling, but again, with the responsibility, I've got such self-pride about that as well, and the work I've done to get to this stage.
Yeah. Do you feel if you hadn't got sober, or if you were still drinking, you would still feel that sense of responsibility and pride and affability to be there for other people? Do you think would you still find that would be totally different?
I will give you, and I wrote it down when I was doing my prep, Rich, a big, fat, juicy no. I was extremely close to throwing this life away, to throwing all the good things of my life away through drinking, which to me was a poison. I always knew it, Rich. I always knew it, but I was that close could have just thrown it all away. So the contrast in 3 years, the work I've done on myself, and the reaffirmation that I don't need alcohol. I'm a good sausage, and I can give more to the world just by being like unfiltered Ben.
Yeah.
And it's a whole feeling of self-pride, almost like the buzz of responsibility, because I've never had it in my life. I'm responsible now for my beautiful wife. For my stepdaughters. I want to be there. I want to, as I've said before on the pod, Rich, I want to be there if somebody needs a lift. That goes, I wrote this down as well, Rich. The lack of responsibility I had when I was drinking. Like, I put off driving for years because it meant spending my beer money on driving lessons.
Right, yeah.
Kidding myself that I didn't need to learn to drive, that I didn't want that responsibility. What an absolute dick. Ben Harlow, you douchebag. And as soon as I passed my test, it just opened up a whole new world, independence. But now that, I'm just available to drive people, get the shopping, I can do it. I can take Betty to the vet. I'm not just sitting back and like, oh, sorry, I don't drive. For years, I kidded myself it was all right. It kind of, as a 5-year-old bloke, I'm sorry, but driving has helped me massively, and I'm bloody proud of that. Guys, it's turned into an audio Top Gear.
Oh, it's true. I will say, I'll
to 80 in 2, whatever they say. I don't know.
I'll caveat it with this though, because obviously you were just saying there, but are we becoming our parents as we get older? Do we, even though being sober and being responsible and making sure that we're turning up, learning to drive, taking someone somewhere, picking up the shopping, checking in on our loved ones.
Yeah.
I'll just say this though, it's sobriety that gives me that common sense in my brain to know that I need to do and I will do those things. But I will also say I still feel 15 in my head in a lot of respects. You know what I mean? I still feel because I have that moment now, because I'm like, someone goes, oh, we're going to go out for the night. They might be drinking. I'm like, obviously I'm not going to drink. Yeah, I'll drive. I'll be the responsible one, right? I'm being trusted to take these people home. I can't believe that I'm the sensible one. And in my brain, I'm like, wow, when did I become that person from the person that was like, yeah, fucking hell, let's get, I like being in that place. I don't
it's
necessarily
a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, even though I've got some clean and sober time behind me now, and I'm a lot more productive and I'm a lot more sensible. I still feel like I'm being, it's like when someone goes, oh, we're going to get, I've got a bank account. Oh, I've got a mortgage. I'm like, I've got a mortgage. In my head, I'm 15. How have I been able to be?
And you're allowed to be in that position. You're allowed to have all these responsibilities.
Yeah. So I'll just say that for anyone feeling that way, it's not suddenly, I don't suddenly become the CEO of the world. Do you know what I mean? I still make mistakes. I've still got, things that I need to work on. It's just that having that foundation of recovery and sobriety, what it does, it personally for me just makes me better placed to be able to navigate situations that the incompetence that I would have shown in navigating situations previously was just unparalleled, whereas now I think, and then I look at my mum, and I think, if I'm going to turn into my mum, then that's fine, because I remember now, and again looking back with a clear head, she was bringing up 2 children. She was working 3 jobs. She had a mortgage. She was like, she worked hard at, earning money and making sure we were fed and clothed and school trips and whatever. And it wasn't easy, but she did it. And her organizational skills were just fantastic. And I'm like, I'm obviously a part of the same gene pool, but I was not organized at all. I was just winging it. And if I do turn into that in my old age, I'm happy with that, because her organization, that's imparted onto me, and I'm able to now be pragmatic in that approach, whereas before I wasn't. So I think it's natural that we all show elements of our parents as we get older, and then we have that moment going, oh fuck, that was my mum. My mum used to say that when I was young, and now I've just said it. Like, it's just it happens, doesn't it? And I think when do we become the grown-ups? Who knows? I like to think I grew up in the last 5 years, but are we becoming our parents? Probably, but that's okay with a clear head and clarity. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. My mum is wonderful. She's had a bumpy ride health-wise over 2 years, I'd say, and you know, my gran, bless her, little Bunty, I mentioned her on the pod before. She got to 101. She was full of positivity, Rich. Always interested in people, always kind, and always saw the good in people. Just like a beautiful, like, life energy she had. I miss her so much. I remember when I was on tour, every Sunday, wherever I was, I'd send her a postcard and give her a little buzz. Just be a little chat, and it'd just be lovely. Just weirdly, because I was drinking then, it was like my one little anchor each week, my one little re-kick of my life could be like this all the time. But of course, on the Monday, back on tour, straight to the pub, the cycle repeated. And she was always like my little go-to. Loved her so much. But, you know, no surprise then that my mum is full of love, full of joy. And I think that's where I get a lot from, obviously. So I'm so proud that I've had that installed into me, as I said at the head of the episode. And, you know, and I love my dad. My parents were divorced, but he got a lot of things wrong. I was never close to my dad, Rich. And, you know, there wasn't, as you said, there wasn't like that. I didn't have that example. I think in the past you've called it that, like, hero figure. And so maybe that's, you know, I had this bedrock of love, joy, positivity, but the other side of me, it was just all haywire. Hence the booze, hence the years of self-loathing, you know, and likewise not realizing that I was allowed to have responsibility and flourish within it. So it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, I've had, you know, 3 bouts of therapy trying to work it all out, and very proud of that, actually, very open about it. So I know that I get my spark, my love for people and for life from my mum, and I think that's why, again, that I'm just really proud of my sobriety. And God, this is really unexpected. Sorry, mate.
It's all right, mate. Take your time. That's all right.
That I'm really proud of the work that I've done on myself, mate.
I'm proud of you too.
Cheers, pal. Oh, shit. Every time, Rich.
It gets you. It gets you. And that's why, because I think getting emotional, you're feeling your emotions, which is what is important, isn't it? You got to feel your emotions. We clouded them for so many years.
Yeah. I'm just really proud of the work that I've done on myself to be present for my wife, for my stepdaughters, for my family. But you know what? For myself as well. And again, that goes back to the core of the ep, doesn't it? Because for years I just didn't do that. I didn't think about myself. Just clouded everything in booze. So I think that's why I got a bit teary, because it's obvious that I don't give myself enough time to just check in on myself. And you know what? Give myself a little pat on the back. Right, tears are gone. I'm back. But it's okay to cry. And you know what? Rita always says it's a good, like, I call it like a brain reboot.
Yeah, it's a leveler.
Thanks, pal. Thank you, listeners. Again, it's just lovely to be me and be open about it. But yeah, I'm bloody proud of myself, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of all the listeners who write in and the viewers who say that they're proud of themselves and how well they're doing, because it's a massive achievement.
Well, it's what we always say, isn't it? We say write in with your stories and your sobriety times and how things are going for you, because we love to hear about it. And Ben, we could argue as well that today that the episode is about checking in with yourselves and getting that sort of, you know, that reset, that foundation. You know, for us, it starts with recovery and sobriety. But you could argue this, because of the emotion that you felt, that this was a check-in for you as well, which is really nice, you know. So
it's
hopefully,
great. I always walk away with a big spring in my step, but I'm going to be walking away. I'm going to grab another coffee, and I promise you, both my hands will be behind my back.
Well,
I need one of those, like, you know, the buskers. They put their what are they called? What are they called?
The mouth organs.
On a harness. I need like something similar, but to hold my coffee with a straw, so I can still do the walk and sip at my coffee at the same time. But thanks, Rich. It's been it's been a good check-in,
mate. It's good, and I'm proud. I'm so proud of you. I've seen you before, and I've seen you grow through this sobriety journey, and it's wonderful to witness. So I'm proud as your friend to see how well you're doing, and honestly, it means everything to witness that. And I will just say this: you talked about you going to get your coffee in the two-armed war. Why don't we encourage our listeners to send pictures in to the email as well, with them walking around with their two-handed war, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, having a little check-in. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah,
that'd be fun to
this
do.
week, Rich and I will do a photo or a video. We'll put it on the on our TikTok and Instagram at the Sober Men Pod, and we're going to start this trend. Let's
the one-handed
see it.
or the two-handed, however you feel. That's it. Ben, that was a good chat, and it's good. You know, the core of the ep was checking in with yourself with that foundation of sobriety, and just making sure that you're okay. Just taking that time to look after yourself, and I think that's very important. And one of those things we like to do to look after ourselves is take a little drink of the week.
Well, Rich, especially after that one, I'm ready for something, just a bit of a lubrication for the nation.
Yes.
This week, Rich, I've chosen Mockingbird. Look at that. Raw Defense, which at first I thought, was that a rock band from the 80s? Give it up for Raw Defense.
What is that? Is it orange juice? Is it, what is it?
It's a virgin smoothie crafted with mango. Nice. Passion
I like
fruit.
mango.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. A Acerola cherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, carrot, nice. Can you see in the dark? Orange, and vitamins B, C, and D. It's 127 calories. I've literally had it in the fridge until we started recording. So let me get it open and give it a go. So Mockingbird, I got this from Tesco, Rich. Raw Defense. It's a nice smoothie. Here we go.
What's it like?
You know what? It's lovely. I'm getting the mango from Santa Oz Clark. I'm getting the mango, the passion fruit.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's going to be packed full of goodness. 127 calories. And it's treated to protect the good stuff. So it's a nice small hit of a raw defense juice. And hopefully, I mean, luckily, even though I'm working hard, I'm sleeping really well. So I don't feel too under par. But I think it's going to be one of those, again, if you need a little boost in the morning, give it a go. It's there in Tesco. Mockingbird Raw Press Raw Defense. That is this week's, look, I love doing that, woo-ha, drink of the week.
Mate, that's lovely. I might grab one of those from Tesco's. That looks lovely. And when you hold it near the camera, if anyone's listening, it looks like the bottle is massive and your hand is tiny. Drink of the week.
Did you say the bottle?
Yeah, the bottle looks massive.
Yeah, thank God you didn't say something else.
Yeah. Mate, what a good chat today. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and being so open and honest, as we always do. We encourage our listeners to be honest with yourselves as well. Again, we're not telling you what to do, just a few suggestions that work for us. So another good episode, an enjoyable chat, Ben. And we'll see you. That was episode 15. So we'll see you for the next one very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and do all that lovely, wonderful stuff that helps us. And hopefully we can help you too.
Oh, Rich, it's been a great chat. Have a good week, everybody. Get those messages coming in. And Rich, you got any spare glasses I could borrow?
I've got 3 other pairs. You're more than welcome. See you next time.
Go and get your flip-flops on. Happy jet washing.